Welcome back to Coriander Society Adventures. I'm your game master, tormented by gnomes, joined once again by Beatdown Boulevard, Ninja Man Matt, and Pods of War. Our heroes are descending onto the desert world of Ashen to plunder the secrets of the Well of Wisdom, a place of import to the dragon sorceress Haura's past. Here they will fulfill the promise that they made in exchange for assistance saving Florence Giotto's life. As they descend on the Pilgrim's Progress, a Spelljammer, they've agreed that only the four of them, our three heroes plus Haura, will actually enter the shrine itself. A stone tetrahedron in the middle of the desert with a single causeway of stairs that leads up to a massive entrance, guarded by three Nagas, who Haura was afraid to challenge when she soared over the deserts of Ashen as a blue dragon. Now, with her renewed magic power that she's learned under John Carmichael's tutelage and with the help of her friends, which she's been through many, many adventures, Haura hopes to conquer this relic of her past and set her feud with John Carmichael to rest. As you descend down through the desert, through the occasional cloud of sand and dust, it doesn't seem that a terrible sandstorm has risen up, just the normal waves that blow past the desert, driven up by the hot desert heat. And by hot desert heat, I'm talking temperatures in the hundreds. It is hot.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. It is not advisable to visit this world without adequate water supplies and the correct gear. So the lower that you get, the hotter it becomes. But you can see the Well of Wisdom far below, sort of nestled in the hills. It's a very obvious structure if you know exactly where to look for it, but it's otherwise sealed on all sides. You are all at full health. You have all your abilities charged up. You have stacks and stacks of inspiration. Is there anything I'm missing before Captain Domnica sets the ship a few hundred feet away at a safe distance, lowers the anchor down to the ground? As soon as the anchor touches the surface of the planet, gravity magically exerts itself, and the ship floats effortlessly above. Is there anything our heroes need to do before they set down?
No, John is more and more a bit apprehensive, but also a bit excited by the prospect of what's to come.
Okay. Gastone, anything for you?
Nothing in particular. I think we can just kind of get this going.
Okay.
Or get started, I should say.
Asena?
No, she's excited to fulfill this quest for Haura, so wants to get it done right away. But also, not really stoked about the Well of Wisdom.
Fair.
Sorry. On their way down, John spends 10 minutes just singing. He really, really enjoyed kind of opening up to the group and telling them how much he appreciated their friendship and their camaraderie, everything that goes into the group supporting each other. And he just spends about 10 minutes just probably getting through about maybe 3 songs. And he sings mostly reminded by the space shanties they had been singing up on the Pilgrim's Progress. He sings sea shanties from his time back on Earth. And despite the fact that the group may or may not actually enjoy what they're hearing, he is using his inspiring leader feature in order to provide them with temporary hit points by just being as inspiring as he can to his compatriots. They get this magical sense that even though his words may grate or fall a little flat at times, there is a magical compulsion to it that does, at least in some regard, make them feel more confident and able to take on the quest ahead of them. And everybody in our group gets, I want to say it's 13, but let me just double check real quick. Where is that feat? Here we go. Inspiring leader. And 13 temporary hit points. Yes.
Cool. Everyone has a health shield of 13 hit points from hearing a rousing rendition of Barrett's Privateers.
That's right.
I is stronger. Oh, there's even a place for temp hit points.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Our heroes descend to the desert below. It is above 100. There's mirages shimmering. Even Lacunas, the blasted surface of the distant world of Lacunas, wasn't this hot or this sandy. That was a rocky desert. This, for the most part, is dunes as far as the eye can see, an ever-shifting landscape driven by the howling winds that are the product of the relentless heat of the pyre. A celestial body of fire, closer, larger, brighter, hotter here than on any world you've ever been before. As you approach the causeway, it is large. It is probably over 100 feet from side to... Yeah, it's over 100 feet from side to side. Just the stairway leading up to the actual shrine, the Well of Wisdom. Pillars line the center of the causeway. Odd marks, almost like sarcophagi embedded in the ground, guide the way. Before this grand temple is a single shimmering brown stone on a pylon that rises to a staggering height. And as you draw closer, you can see 3 large serpentine shapes coiled around the pillars, watching you as you approach.
So how do we want to go about actually doing this, Haura?
Haura takes a moment. I want to confront them directly.
Do they know we're here right now?
Most likely we landed a damn ship nearby. We might be able to get in stealthily if we start a slow approach from a bit of a distance.
Joe, what's like the layout of this place? I can kind of tell those are like pillars and stuff like that, right? But is there any like elevated areas to the left or right?
Not particularly. These platforms that you see are slightly higher. Not enough. If you're standing behind them, you'll be visible. If you're crouched, you will not be visible.
Okay.
This large pillar right here with this gemstone on it, it'll hide you if you're standing, and these pillars will also hide you if you're standing. The door lies all the way at the end of the causeway.
Right. Okay. I think the platform in the middle is too close. So if I were to walk and sneak my way to like, no, I need this. To like here.
Mm-hmm.
You think I could do it and mount up without being noticed?
You can try. You'd have to roll a stealth check.
Real quick. Wait. Before we get going. John is going to ask, Haura, is there any way that we could try to persuade our way into the halls of this place? Do we have to defeat these guardians, or can we trick them or supplant them in some way?
I was going to walk up and demand access. Demand that they yield.
What? That's it?
You can lurk in the shadows and prepare if they make the wrong choice. That's fine. That's a good tactical. But I want them to submit. They defied me before. This isn't just about being smarter and sneakier than them. This is about gaining access. Victory.
We don't have to kill them, though, right?
I just want what's inside, and I want them to yield.
Okay.
You lurking in the shadows, preparing a strike, that's a good idea, Gastone.
Okay. But I do... Yielding does not mean we have to kill them, right?
No, they just have to acknowledge... They have to acknowledge my superiority. They have to grant me access.
Okay. Look, I don't know a lot about dragons, so I'm not gonna pretend that I do, but will there not be an issue with this whole respect acknowledgement thing? Because you look like us.
Roll an insight check, please, Gastone.
I actually, on the approach, John had a thing for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so Gastone, when you bring that up, a flicker of fear in Haura's eyes. And your thought of it. John, what were you going to say?
On the approach, John had a plan. It takes some time to cast, so it would be like as they're moving up, they either would need to hunker down for a moment, or he would make sure that he does it when they're a ways off in the distance. Haura, I don't know going forward how you're going to feel about your power and how you want to represent it, but I have an idea that might help ease you into it if you are planning on doing anything drastic. My spell, that draconic form that I have taken when we were on Lacunas, if you'd like, I could cast it on you, and it would temporarily transform parts of you into being somewhat draconic. And I'm not sure if that might ease your transition if you chose to. It wouldn't be so abrupt. And I'm just offering, if you want something to make you feel, even though you're in this form, it might make you feel more. It might help.
Roll persuasion, please, John.
Do I have any more disadvantage?
You might. You just might. That's a yes. That's a yes.
Still?
You have one disadvantage left.
You got some today.
Alrighty. Let's do this. Persuasion, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
If it's okay with you, because it's important for John to try to make Haura as comfortable as possible. As he's picking his words, he realizes he's kind of stumbling over himself, trying to say the right thing, and he kind of realizes through trying to make himself do what he thinks he should say, he's kind of awkwardly approaching this, and he would rather just speak with his heart. And he just tells her, I just want to help you, Haura, and if this will help you, I'm more than happy to acquiesce, and I'd like to spend an inspiration to remove the disadvantage, if that's okay.
Okay. Do you want to spend one from your sheet or one that chat has given you?
I kind of track them all, so yes, both. I'm going to remove it from my sheet, and then...
Okay, because I see two here from chat. I'll go ahead and mark them off if you tracked them already.
Yeah, I've got them on my sheet already.
Done and done. We're going to take the 24.
Perfect.
Okay. She hesitates. She responds with, I want to do this myself. But in that response is a certain degree of uncertainty. It's not a flat rejection. It's a first option, if that makes sense.
John reaches out and just gently puts a hand on her shoulder reassuringly.
She tenses, but doesn't pull away.
He looks her in the eye and says, all right, you don't need me. You can do this. I believe in you.
So does she, though she doesn't say it. She turns back to Gastone. You're going left?
Yeah, going left.
Asena, what about you?
I could be sneaky, or I could be loud. Whatever you like.
Please be sneaky.
You go right.
Okay.
John, you hang back and stand by, all right?
Yeah, certainly.
All right. Gastone, roll a stealth check and move yourself into position. Asena, roll a stealth check and move yourself into position. And John, when they've done that, let me know what you'd like to do.
I would like to spend inspiration in what must be the most surprising thing this show has ever seen.
Incredible. You've got 3 from chat right now. Do you want to just add those to your character sheet and I'll clear them from the record?
Okay.
All right, so add those, burn 1, and I'll clear the record. And Pods, you have 1 from chat. Add that, and I'm going to clear it from the record.
Okay.
Thanks,
and also,
chat.
Also, Waif, aka Bag, has 1, but we'll get to that later.
Hey, mate, on the approach, would John have had time to cast a ritual or not?
Yeah, you could take your time. You could cast a ritual.
Okay. So he could have cast on her anyway, but John's just going to take his time to cast his ritual to put the draconic form on himself.
Okay.
So at least he has the defensive properties of his spell.
All right, put little icons on yourselves. A ninja icon on Gastone for stealth. John, pick an icon for draconic form. And Asena, you got a 12. Are you happy with that, or do you want to do anything about that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, go ahead and move yourselves all into position.
I'm going to put the wings on, mate, because I get flight.
Yeah, the wings make sense to me.
I'm also picking... Oh, gosh. Resistance to fire damage.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
How do I? So,
Haura, go ahead.
oh, I just had a question about the because I realized once I move, the shadow. Do the shadows on like the pillars indicate line of sight?
Yes. They indicate
Oh, that's handy.
visibility. Yeah. I've actually
Yeah.
used them as line of sight blockers.
I like that. Okay.
So you can, and I don't have that on these sort of sarcophagi looking things. Just know that if you're crouched behind them, you're in cover.
Okay.
Okay. Is everyone happy with their positions?
Yes, I'm taking it back. Sorry, I already have resistance to fire damage. So, let's do lightning.
Okay. Resistance to lightning damage. Haura takes a deep breath, gathers herself, prepares to face something that terrified her in the past, then takes a confident step forward. Lightning gathers around her. Static electricity charges the air as she strides towards the Nagas. I am Acophysinian, Darastrix of Vorel. This is my territory. Yield before me. Voices respond in unison.
Welcome, Haura. Our power of this place is forbidden in the wrong hands. We have denied you in the past. Perhaps now those hands have changed. You have rejected our trial before. Will you face it now?
Haura pauses. What do the three of you do?
I'm gonna very quietly, really as quietly as one can, put up, mount the sniper on top of the box, just so I can watch and get an angle on all three of them, and I'm just listening.
Okay. Asena, what are you doing?
I'm gonna move up closer.
All right, go ahead and move yourself. Roll a stealth check for me, please. Mm. 12.
Welcome, Evelyn Carrington. Will you face our trial?
Asena's going to like peer over the pillar. Like
Wait. So he just knows? That's kind of, they just know names?
Mate, is this in people's heads? The talking?
No, they're speaking aloud.
Okay.
so I'll come this way and look at Haura like I'm sorry.
Literally also, Gastone is in this moment is just like, you know, eyes scope trained on the three crazy dragons, and he hears the name Evelyn Carrington is just like, what? The fuck?
Welcome, John Carmichael. The road you have taken here is dark. Will you face our trial?
John shrugs, having been, just outed, and he's gonna step forward, standing next to Haura, and he looks over at her. If it's okay with you.
Lightning crackles around her hands as she clenches for a moment, all the muscles in her arm tense. Fine. Whatever you can throw at me, I'm not afraid. If I pass your trial, do you yield?
We bear none of you ill will. Those who pass the test of time will be granted access to the Well of Wisdom. Do any others stand forth?
John looks over, just not like a full blown, but like he glances eyes over towards where Gastone is and kind of does the come on, man.
Gastone's just gonna say, picks up the sniper, slings it back around along his shoulder, and just starts walking over. Yeah, sure, I'll take your trial.
John calls out, "They probably didn't see you."
They didn't call me by name, so that's promising.
Welcome, Gastone Tosto. The test of time begins. Who will stand trial first?
John doesn't step forward, but he kind of raises a hand, looks kind of... Sorry, quick clarification for these rules. Are there separate individual trials and each one of us is going to stand part for the rest? Or are we all taking part in each trial, like, Battle Royale style? Like, how is this kind of going along here?
Each of you must be judged.
Oh.
Separately?
Yes.
I'll go first, but I have a question. Why do you know all our names? Well, Haura, I understand, but...
I am Serapis. I speak for the past.
The one on the left. Or, sorry, the one on the right.
No, the
one on the left.
I am Spare Chaos. I speak for the present.
The one on the right remains silent.
Oh, I kind of like this. Okay.
Mate, what were their names again?
Serapis, Spare Chaos, and the third one hasn't said anything yet.
Can
Well,
John, just because
I think
he's...
you got my name wrong. I'm Asena.
You are wrong and you are right.
Mate, just because John doesn't get to flex his linguistics training all that much, we had some very similar names that seem to be following some very similar language parallels. Would John be able to work out what he thinks, since knowing past and present, what future's name might be?
Sure, roll a history check. This is going to be a tall order, but it's not impossible.
That's totally fine. I rolled a 2, so 11.
The total of 11. Yeah, that's not going to cut it, my friend.
John just kind of looks at him and thinking, no, couldn't be. Nah, never mind. If he rolled a 1, he would have blabbed out what he thought it was.
And it would have been something completely wrong.
Are you Ralzamon, Master of the Unknown? My gosh, man. Wow. Trial of time, indeed.
Who will stand trial first?
I'll step forward.
Gastone Tosto. Past, present. Who will stand for your prosecution?
Excuse me?
I don't follow.
This is the test of time. One will speak against you. One will speak in your defense.
Oh, I'm really glad you went for this one, Gastone.
Who in your past and present will speak for you, and who will speak against you? Choose honestly.
This is from anyone I've ever known?
Yes. Who would speak best against you? And who would speak best for you? Choose truthfully.
Do they have to be alive currently?
Past or present.
I see. Wow, that's hard.
That's pretty cool, is what that is.
That's difficult because most people, I guess. Oh, maybe who would? Johnny Pavlo. I bet he'd speak pretty badly of me. I blew that dude's brains out.
There he is, standing before you, blood trailing down his sharp three-piece suit, a massive gaping hole in his head, the bindings that tied him to the chair where you killed him still fresh around his wrists. Gastone Tosto takes life into his own hands. He believes himself above the judgment of his fellow mortals. Judge, jury, and executioner. Should he continue on this path, his belief in his own judgment will stain his hands with innocent blood. He must not be allowed to enter the well of wisdom. Johnny stares at you with his dead eyes.
And who speaks for you?
Before you can even answer, Florence Giotto appears on the other side.
Whoa!
What?
Outside of her armor, outside of her pod, dressed for the day, Gastone Tosto places others before himself. He risks his life to fulfill his promises. He puts himself on the line even to help his enemy's children because he believes they are innocent.
Gastone, you may enter the well of wisdom.
And the two shades before you vanish.
Wow.
Who will stand next and be judged?
Oh, this is in turn. Oh.
I'm scared.
When they ask someone else to go next, that it's going to be a repeat of this trial, John makes the realization that if he has to move forward, that he has to be judged, and he unconsciously takes a step back.
All right.
Kind of falling into the weight of everything he's ever done, good and bad.
Okay.
I guess that means I'm going next.
Do you step forward?
Yeah.
Asena, Evelyn Carrington. Past and present. Who will speak against you?
I mean, I kind of have a lot of enemies.
Who?
Ralzamon?
It is not Ralzamon, Master of the Unknown, who appears before you, but a man dressed for the gear of the Zolquian jungles, carrying a book marked with the sign of the eclipse, Josiah Parsons, who appears. Yet when he speaks, it is with that same voice.
Asena wields terrible power. Power she fails to understand and exercises no judgment. She wields violence carelessly and irresponsibly, with no thought for the consequences. Her inattentiveness and her ignorance are dangerous, and they will cause harm. They already have. And who will speak in your defense?
Do I have to choose?
Choose.
Oh, Gastone got his for free.
Gastone had a whole plot arc about saving her that was completely optional.
Mm, she's gonna look around the room. I guess John. If that's okay with you.
John Carmichael, what say you in Asena's defense?
Just to clarify, Janessa, were you asking me, Joe, or John?
John.
Okay. When you turn to ask him if he would come to your defense, John only realizes now how far back he's distanced himself from the group. And he steps forward without a second thought, and he stands next to you on the side of the where they've been standing, but he does stand next to you. He looks over towards the shade of Josiah Parsons, looks back at the past, present, and future Nagas, and then stares to you. And I'm going to tell you all right now, if I start crying, please don't think otherwise, because I get really emotional for stuff like this. John looks at Asena and says, "You are, without a doubt, one of the most genuine people I've met across a plethora of worlds. You are kind without expectation. You are fierce and without fear. You do for others and also for yourself. You're chaos incarnate, as far as I'm concerned. You are a leaf on the winds, and throughout our adventures, it's been a pleasure to watch you soar. You hold no ill will for any that have not harmed you or your friends first. And though you may appear judgmental at times, it's only because you're looking for the good in everyone, especially when you come across so much dark and bad. You always look on the bright side. We need more Asenas in the world, even if that wasn't your first name."
Judgment is cast. By past and present Asena, Evelyn Carrington, you may enter the Well of Wisdom.
And the shade of Josiah Parsons vanishes, just as it was.
John walks past Asena, but squeezes her hand as he goes by and kind of buries his head into his hand for a moment.
Who now undertakes the test of time?
There's a pregnant pause before John looks up at Haura. Should we draw straws?
She just looks at you and walks forward. Defiantly. I don't care who you send to judge me. I'm not ashamed of anything I've done. Do your worst.
So be it.
And an enormous dragon appears before all of you.
John Carmichael, you are called to speak in Haura's defense.
I hate you so much. This is not John, this is Matt.
This sniveling creature conspires with those who wronged her, preys upon weak students to enhance her own power, makes deals for the lives of the innocent, withholding the help they need to free themselves to fulfill her own goals. Florence Jodo was nothing but a pawn to her. These others with whom she travels are Munthrek, who she can't possibly ever truly respect. All of them pawns for her, and she knows it. And her only sin is failing to recognize it. Her weakness is exploitation, and she co-conspires with exploiters. She is guilty of her own persecution. Naga's turn to John.
Matt sighs deeply. John is normally a very... Usually his reactions are in the form of spells, not, biting remarks. But he seems to be fuming at the words of this conjured dragon. And the final phrase is barely out of the dragon's maw before John cuts in. A pawn, you say? She treats the world as pawns. This woman, this dragon, this friend, she started her life as a pawn. She had her whole world out before her, and through strength and guile and cleverness, she was able to take hold of this territory. She sought to make it her own, and she used the gifts that she was given to attain it. And then it was ripped away from her. She started life as a pawn, and the only pawns that she's played with are those students that she's helped move across the board one by one and find out who they want to be. Normally in chess, pawns become queens when they make their way across the board, but Haura doesn't just see one way to solve a problem. Haura sees many before her. She is clever. She is strong. And she's able to take pawns and forge them into knights, into bishops, into rooks, kings, and queens even. She builds up those around her. When we were lost in Lacunas, not only did she learn to improve upon her own magic, with and without my tutelage, I might add, but she ventured forth and she learned how to grab technology by the reins, a thing she had never seen before. And she all but mastered it before we left that place. She came to Northport, and inside of a year is now the headmistress of an illustrious school, where she takes her natural and hard work and talents, and she brings them forth to her students. All she's done is think about others. Sin, her failure to admit for herself, she doesn't even know who she is. She's been grappling with that ever since her inception, and yet she pushes on. She doesn't let herself get stuck in the muck. She doesn't... I wish that I could say more. I've been so wrapped up in my own hurt that I've been ignoring what I've needed to do, and that's support my friend. And I see that now. The only persecution she's been guilty of was the original betrayal of a friend that she came to know, who was originally a Munthrek that she was supposed to consume. She is a gifted talent. She is hardworking. And she's just trying to find out who she is. She doesn't have any ill will, I know it. She's just lost. But she's gonna be found. And John tears up and just turns away, looking away.
Gastone Tosto, do you vouch for Haura?
I do.
How?
Just by the fact that you can't do the things. The thing about using people as pawns, it has to be for an end. And the only end I see for Haura's actions, especially regarding the Donahue Institute, was the support of young people who are also lost and trying to figure their lives out the way she is. So to say her desires and motivations are selfish it's just foolishness and something I don't plan to entertain. If Haura isn't worthy, then I don't think any of us are.
Asena, Evelyn Carrington, do you vouch for Haura?
Yes.
How?
When I first met Haura, she was real scary. A lot of times when she comes in the room, she makes you get little shivers because her presence is a little domineering. But after you get to know her, she really is really smart, kind. She is a little funny even. I know that she laughs at our jokes on the inside. And we've gotten to know her a lot. I think that she's been more than accommodating for all of us. And this whole time, all she's wanted to do is come here. I think this is really important to her journey. And like Gastone said, if anyone's allowed to come in here, it should be her.
The test of time is completed. We will not stand in your way. Let no blood be shed on sacred ground. Enter the well of wisdom and drink of its waters.
The dragon vanishes with a snarl. The Nagas sliver out of the way. The doors open before you. The way is clear.
At the center you will find the well of wisdom. Descend into its depths. Your true essence will flow forth, and wisdom with it. Be warned, though. Should two of you stand in its waters at once, your truths will mingle, and neither of you will emerge the same.
Interesting.
The Nagas
Spooky.
move out of the way and yield without a fight. Haura looks perplexed, confused, almost distraught, as if this victory was too easy, and yet listening to her friends speaking in her defense was harder than she ever imagined. But she is not prepared to deal with that.
There remains one more. But your test is not out here. Your test lies within, John Carmichael.
John finishes hunchedly, kind of trying to guard himself from the sand in his eye, and wipes away the the sweat of his brow. Oh, no free pass. Okay. All right. Certainly. Well, no time like the past, present, and future, I suppose. He looks to his companions in turn. Shall we be off?
And just like that, Haura steps forward and starts walking through the enormous doors, determined. The last of the three Nagas, the one who has not yet spoken, watches all of you. Do you follow Haura?
I follow, but on my way in, I want to ask the middle dragon guy, saying, what is up with, how come one of you doesn't speak? How come you don't even reference him?
Past is certain, present is ever changing. Future remains silent.
Gastone rolls his eyes at that one and just continues on.
All right. When you step through the doors into the shrine, the environment is utterly different. It is lush. It is pleasantly cool. There are enormous plants growing on all sides. There's a thin layer of mist in the air. It's almost like the oxygen levels in here are higher. And when you look to your left and to your right, you don't see the walls of the outside. You see more lush terrain behind you, as if this is just a doorway standing in the middle of this alien jungle in all directions. I would like John and Gastone to roll nature checks and science checks, and I would like Asena to roll a nature check. Okay. 16 Gastone science, 11 Pod's nature.
And you wanted science from John as well?
Yes, sir. Science or nature, I'll let you pick.
Okay. Very good, very good. Oh, that is not what it was supposed to be, but all right, we'll take that.
All right. This, obviously there's some dimensional nonsense happening right now. It is literally bigger on the inside. This is not an illusion. The shrine is actually bigger on the inside. And none of the plant species here are, one, native to Ashen, and two, probably native to this universe. In all likelihood, these are specimens that were planted here and brought from Lacunas. They didn't grow on Lacunas. They grew elsewhere in the Stellar Empire that once had an outpost on Lacunas. So
this is from a world somewhere out there.
Yeah. So the technology of the ancients is absolutely at work here. As you find yourselves, let me make sure that it is ready for your arrival.
And this is very likely not even this biome is from one other world. This is probably from a plethora of various worlds that have been brought together to make this splendid.
Yes. And Asena, you immediately feel much more at home surrounded by all of this beautiful greenery, this lush life. You can feel it pulsating around you. And even though it's strange, it's all pleasant and it's all at home here, even if it's not supposed to be.
Cool.
At the center, it takes you a few minutes to wander your way through bizarre, huge butterflies drifting past, untold life forms, animal cries off in the distance, and no visible, it's not like you can see the roof either. There's an alien sky here as part of this dimensional projection that you've entered. But at the center of it all is a big pit in the ground.
Whoa.
Doesn't look particularly interesting, but by circumnavigation, you can absolutely tell this is the center of this place. What will you do?
Well, who wants to go first?
Haura mutters something about this all being too easy, and she doesn't trust it.
Can I see the door behind us?
No, it's too far away. But it's not like you can tell the terrain isn't changing. Roll survival check. No one who wants to can roll survival.
Can John investigate, spend a little time looking around?
All right, let's take a look here.
Sheesh.
Well, there we go. Hey!
Another one? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can tell there's no Feywild rerouting going on. Once you get inside, it is what it is. The terrain is stable. It's probably limited, but it's not changing on you. You could follow this path back. You could get back to the doorway that you came through. John, there is absolutely latent power in this well. It is probably reactive to your presence.
To our presence or to John's specific presence?
Anyone's presence.
Gotcha.
But it is latent at the moment. It requires a catalyst of some sort to activate it. Asena, is there anything in particular you want to know? Because if so, you know it.
I don't know if there's any like. I don't know if any of these like plants. I guess if it's like actual nature.
Mm-hmm. It was planted here by science. It was not.
Right.
It didn't grow here naturally. The biome is extremely self-sufficient, and all these plants are thriving, but they didn't grow naturally. All of this was planted here deliberately, and you can tell that. But it's been growing here for like 10,000 plus years.
Is there anything dangerous?
No, none of the plants here are poisonous, and there are no predators in here. It's like an ark that was set here to preserve all these different species. And they're all almost completely perfectly balanced to survive with each other, even though they've been going for 10,000 years. It hasn't grown out of control, which takes a certain touch. You're all standing at the edge of the Well of Wisdom. What will you do?
Can we just go inside?
Oh, this is the Well of Wisdom.
Yeah, this big hole. It's in the middle. It doesn't look like a well. It looks like a big empty hole with some broken stuff around the edge. It's not very visually impressive.
John's going to move up to the well and mate, does John feel like he'd be able to identify by spending the time to, the 10 minutes to cast the spell, and he might be able to find out more about the well by trying to figure out if it responds to any magic that might infer what it might be able to do?
Absolutely. Go ahead and take 10 minutes. Does anybody do anything while John takes 10 minutes?
I'm just gonna go look my head over the edge, just like is there like a stone nearby I can drop in? Okay, I'm gonna do that.
All right. Bunk. It's probably 40 feet deep, maybe.
Okay.
You can see the bottom. It's just a big pit in the ground.
Huh. Hey, R, is it supposed to be like this?
I never got this far before. I assumed it'd be shimmering water, magical artifacts.
Maybe it's a translation error. Does the word well happen to, in Draconic, also sound like the word empty hole?
I don't believe so, but I'm going to look it up.
Is there not water in it?
It looks completely dry, aside from the fact that the soil is slightly damp.
All the water's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Should have asked more questions about the well.
Ugh.
Well, is there like a discernible way to get in? Like a ladder?
No, but you could probably climb down with an athletics check or a rope.
I could jump.
Asena could absolutely jump. Do you want to go for it?
You have the...
I'll look around to everyone being like, you guys okay with me jumping in?
I mean, you've survived worse.
XP.
XP for me.
John is just down in the dirt, just focused on the casting of a spell. He's just tracing runes along the edge of the well, really just focusing in on, okay, what exactly is, where does the well begin and where does the ground end? And he's trying to parse in on it, and he barely hears us saying it and goes, just remember to duck and roll.
Haura's taking a moment to combobulate her thoughts when John says that. What does Asena do?
Maybe you guys could like get a rope ready or something, just in case.
Yeah, you could absolutely have a rope. Gastone has a grappling hook.
Oh, yeah. I do. I'm going to use that.
All right. Are you going to use that to go down, or are you going to give that to Asena?
I'm going to use that to go down. She'll be fine.
All right. So you're going to jump down into the well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and move yourself
We're not
down into
supposed
the
to
well.
go together, so you're going.
When did they say that? They said we can't get tried together.
No, literally when we left the thing, they said we shouldn't go together.
There's no water in there right now, right?
Correct. It's completely dry.
Oh, then go ahead.
John
I mean, you could go
absentmindedly says, I believe they said don't enter the waters together. As long as there's no water, you both should probably be okay.
Okay,
I don't know
what
what
if
this
there's
does
like
yet, though.
mud at the bottom?
Wow.
Does that
That's a
count
good
as
point.
water?
The soil is technically damp too. Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna go first. I'm just gonna run and jump before anyone can say anything.
Okay. Move yourself into the bottom of the Well of Wisdom. Splorch. Kind of sink a few inches into the mud.
Aha! Good call, Asena.
Muck, muck, muck. The orb of lightning that you're carrying is starting to spark. The orb of storms that the king of Fluris gave you. Bzz. 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 Bzz.
Should this not be? Should I not have this with me?
I think it likes it.
Why do I feel like
Maybe, maybe you should go in, Haura, or do some sort of lightning thing to it because it kind of likes it.
I don't
I'm
want
just
to fry Gastone. Go ahead, Gastone.
I guess I would also appreciate that. Is there like a tunnel in here, or am I just
Nope.
in the Well of Wisdom?
You're just in a big muddy pit, 40 feet deep muddy pit, and with an orb that's sparking and sparking more and more and making more and more noise.
Hey guys, this thing is doing something. Should I be concerned?
Yes.
Yes.
What do I do?
Get out.
How? Oh, wait. Should I leave the orb?
The ground beneath you begins to glow with a coruscating green and blue light shining up
Shit.
through the mud at your feet. What do you do?
What are the chances? Nah, I probably can't throw it. I think I'm just here now. I just accept it.
Okay. All right.
How far along is the spell, by the way?
How long did you wait into the 10-minute casting before you jumped down there, Gastone?
I'll say 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay. You're about halfway through, John.
As this is happening, John's like, oh my.
Your
Well,
readings are changing drastically, John.
yeah, I think you did it.
I didn't do anything.
Gastone
Oh, I did beg to
vanishes
differ.
as a pulse of mist erupts from the bottom of the well,
Yep.
Oh,
and he can no longer be seen. Until he appears again, standing on a shimmering pool of light, standing on top of it as if it was a solid surface. It rose up beneath your feet, and you're standing directly on top of it, Gastone. What do you do?
wait, so I'm by myself now.
You're by yourself, you're in the pit, you're standing on top of this force field, essentially. What do you do?
I'm gonna like stomp really quick just to get a
Okay.
feel for how strong this is.
It
Can I tell what it's made of?
roll a science check.
Mouse. There it is.
We all saw that. We all saw that. A 26. This is an energy field of an unknown kind, probably magic, bound by technological devices inherent in the dimensional patterns of the containment unit that is holding this whole false reality together. But as you look down, you see yourself, your reflection,
Oh,
wearing the exact same clothes that you are right now. But the sky above you is filled with galaxies, an infinite cosmos stretching out far, far beyond. In one distant galaxy, you think you can see Northport, even though you have no idea how you can make that out. In another, Lacunas, and there are countless others that you haven't even begun to explore. And one by one, they start going dark, snuffed out, bit by bit. devoured by the darkness between the stars. On the far left of the reflection is a pool of mathematical formulas floating almost like a luminescent alphabet soup, brimming like a fountain. And on the other side of the reflection is a swirling whirlpool of arcane runes and glyphs. Both of them flow along the very surface of the reflection, churning beneath your feet. They don't rise up out of the reflection. Nothing above the waters of the well is changing. They flow down along the body, glowing along the suit that your reflection is wearing. Your reflection's eyes spark with a light. Arcane glyphs and mathematical symbols flow around both of your arms. And as you begin to move your hands to craft them, to combine them, to wield them into devices upon 1,000 chalkboards and 1,000 different schematics, the light across the cosmos and across the multiverse flickers back on in a series of crackling sparks like fireworks. The vision ends. Gastone, increase your wisdom by 2 points.
All right.
John, roll an Arcana check.
Oh, roll that thing. I'm all done with the disadvantage, right? I'm good. I'm kosher. I'm
I
Gucci.
believe you're all done with disadvantage. Yes,
Okay.
you are. I'm the only one who has any disadvantage left.
Glorious. 21.
Okay, a 21. All right. The well is activated by an infusion of energy. As long as it comes, the person who infuses that energy and stands within it is the one who will see their reflection. The reflection illuminates the inner self. It does not necessarily predict the future, but it does illuminate the inner self.
Oh. John, as he's realizing this, is just saying it kind of out loud, as if he was reading from a textbook.
Okay.
And if you don't mind, if you could, when you get a chance, if you could send me that, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Sure. Gastone, what do you do?
So I guess I'm done. So
Is he back? Did we see him?
You saw him standing on this reflection the whole time. If you were looking down there, you would have seen everything that he saw as well.
I misunderstood. I thought he disappeared and we couldn't see him anymore.
He disappeared at first, but then it was like he stepped and the waters erupted, but instead of waters, it was magical energy. So he disappeared in the spray, then was lifted on top of this surface that arose. So when it fades, it sort of wells back down into the ground and leaves him down at the bottom. But that was visible to everyone.
Okay, question. Actually, okay, I was going to say something, but I thought that I would have misunderstood. When he disappears and reappears, John would have pretty quickly... someone check, is that still him? To kind of confirm that he didn't get erased with a body double or something.
Haura is like, how would we test that?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
John distractedly, ask him something only Gastone would know.
Gastone, Haura throws a rock at you, Gastone. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
If it hits, yeah, it's him.
Okay, you get hit by a rock. She picks
What the
up
hell was that for?
She picks up another rock and says, catch, and throws it at you. Roll another dexterity saving throw. 10. You get hit by another rock. If you get hit by one more rock, you'll take a point of damage. She picks up another rock and is already throwing it.
What are you doing?
Roll a dexterity saving throw. All right. What is Gastone's dominant hand?
Right.
Okay, you catch the rock in your right hand. It's him.
It's at least not a left-handed version of Gastone.
Mirror clones have reversed handedness.
Oh.
Good thinking.
What are you guys babbling about up there?
It's fine. Come up.
Fine.
Who wants to go next?
Grappling hook.
Asena, do you want to go or do you want to encourage Haura to go?
I'll go.
Okay. Gastone, clear yourself out. Asena, come on down.
To the Price is Right. Asena jumps down.
All right, roll an acrobatics or athletics check. Your choice.
Definitely athletics.
Okay, 16. Perfect superhero landing. The moment you hit the ground, there's a flash of green light and you lose one focus point.
Ooh.
Okay.
And again, the ground glows in kind. First, it's illuminated by this orb of light that starts to rise like a bubble through the mud. Then, as it bursts, you vanish into a cloud of scintillating mist. And finally, it rises, and you're standing on it like a geyser, erupting upwards to form this perfect mirror sheen surface.
Cool.
What do you do?
She's gonna look around. What's in the sky? Just gonna look above her.
When you look up, you just see the sky above you. Nothing's changed.
Normal sky. Then she will crouch down. It's
Okay.
sort of like touch the floor and then look down towards the floor.
The reflection you see is not your own.
Whoa.
An enormous dragon, curling, winding back and forth through the astral sea that you've dwelt in before. Its every motion exactly mirroring yours.
Oh.
As you stare directly at it, you notice it's missing 2 teeth.
2?
Yes.
Asena's gonna like do her little like dance moves.
On a much, much larger scale, it mirrors what you're doing exactly.
This is so cool. Can I talk to it, or is it just...
You can talk. It talks right back to you in your exact voice.
Oh man, I gotta ask Gastone what he saw, because this is weird.
I wanna very quickly ask John, like, hey, did you see anything that was going on while I was down there? What happened?
If you're at the edge of the pit, Gastone, and you're looking down, you see Asena standing on this mirror surface. You see this enormous dragon. You see everything she sees just from a different angle.
What the fuck is
As he like approaches, John looks over and like, yeah. That's sick cat, bro.
Is that her?
I'm gonna run around in circles.
Okay. It spirals around in circles, weaving itself into an infinite knot, back and forth, like an Ouroboros or an infinity knot.
I'd like to. Oh god, I don't know what check it would be. I'm going to tell you what I want to find out, and you can tell me what to roll.
Okay.
Does John get the sense from what he's seeing? First of all, has John ever seen this dragon before?
He has not.
Has not, and you know for sure. Even if I roll a check, I have not seen this dragon before.
I know
I've
for
not
sure.
seen physically, but like know of this dragon.
If you get a natural 20, you've happened to come across a possible description of it.
You better believe I'm taking that shot.
Go for it.
Well, shoot.
Do you want to burn an inspiration and a lucky on this?
Dude, I could try to... You know what? Yeah, I'm going to burn a lucky. You better believe I'm going to burn a lucky. Hell yeah, I'm going to burn a lucky.
You could burn an inspiration too to get the triple. Close but no cigar.
I'm going to go with, I think it's not meant to be. However, John does want to think if does he think it's possible that Asena, like our Asena, could be an avatar of this dragon we're seeing? Like, you know how there are certain beings that can take, they don't have their full form, but when they go to a different plane of existence, they can take on a form that allows them to be there without actually being there. Something along those lines.
Well, roll an Arcana check, not history for this.
All right, John will roll Arcana. And I'm going to roll a lucky.
Okay.
Just burning through it all, trying to think into my lexicon of the past. Okay,
Brain blast. You want to burn an inspiration to go for
yeah, I'm going to burn an inspiration.
the
Gastone asked who, if that's her, and John really wants to know if he has any idea. Come on, man. All right, 24. We take those. It only took 3 tries.
Okay. It's missing 2 teeth. One of the members of the Malefic Pact that sacrificed Rose and Evelyn to Senapulcher regretted his choices. You've seen this in a vision, in Asena's vision before. And he bestowed upon each of them a tooth of a dragon that brought them back to life. But if this reflection is showing Asena's true self, then she has a new soul. The soul occupying her body now is not the soul that was sacrificed to Senapulcher. Evelyn Carrington may yet still be within the power of the stillborn god.
Ooh.
But whatever this new soul is, it was constituted. It is a part. It was made from a piece of the identity of this astral dragon, this traveler in silver mist. This strange pilgrim. The astral plane is a place of thought, of mental energy, and the place where souls cross on the way to their final destination. A new soul was woven from that raw soul stuff and from the spark of this greater elder dragon. That is what inhabits Asena's body now. That is who Asena is. A new mind, a new soul, with this dragon as its seed. Asena, the fang around your neck glows bright, reflecting the light of this dragon at the exact same time. Is there anything else that you want to do before the vision fades?
Before she leaves, she's just gonna shout real loud, "I'm a Darkin!"
As you do, the dragon opens its mouth, and a beam of light erupts from it, only in the reflection. It doesn't emerge into the waking world. A beam of crackling, multicolored light arcs out. And if it were to hit any of you, were it not bound within this mirror reflection,
Oh.
Huh?
it would have inflicted 65 force damage.
That would have one-shot me.
Wow.
I would have been 100-0'd.
Even with your bonus hit points, your temporary hit points?
Yeah, I don't have those right now. So
Oh.
yeah. 100-0.
That's pretty powerful.
So
And the vision fades. But as it does, the light of the silver tooth continues to glow brighter. That item and your connection to your astral spirit has become more powerful.
Yes! Nice!
What
I'm
do you
gonna
do?
jump out of the hole
Okay.
very excitingly.
Haura sees this, beholds this enormous astral dragon reflected. She shudders. Tears crawl in at the edge of her eyes. And as soon as Asena exits, she leaps down into the well. Lightning arcs from her into the well of wisdom. Oh, hey, Asena, increase your wisdom by 2 points, please.
Oh, hey. Thanks.
Well of wisdom.
Mate, before you continue, did you I sent you a thing. Did you see the thing I sent you?
Yeah, we'll go a little late. Is it okay with you guys if we go a little late, or do you need to go? Because
No, I'm good.
we're getting to a point where we
I'm
could break.
good.
We could stop on a dramatic cliffhanger in a moment, or we could keep going.
I am good.
Okay. The light surges forth. The mist engulfs Haura. She stands upon the reflected surface and looks down into the eyes of the blue dragon, Acophysinian. You can roll insight checks, please, all of you.
There's my natural 20.
Okay.
Damn.
Why are we rolling together?
Dude, we're on it tonight. We're of one mind.
The dragon that looks back up at her. Haura, first, when she stands there, she closes her eyes. She takes a deep breath. She's afraid. She is so afraid. And the dragon looking back up at her is angry and hurt and terrified and young, so young. Barely a juvenile, far from an adult. Just little more than a whelp. Even though it's larger than any of you, it is angry and young and scared. And with reluctance, with grave reluctance, she looks down and faces herself. And her reflection hisses in the draconic tongue. I can't believe you've left me here. I can't believe you let him shut you away. Shut me away. Lock me up in this weak Munthrak. All this strength that he promised you, that he gave you, just to fulfill his own ends. How could you trust any of them? What he did to you, what they did to you. You're supposed to rule them. Look at all the worlds that you've found. You could become so powerful. You could reign with our ancestors on Lacunas where you belong. The children of Northport, scarcely even any older than you, any younger than you. You could make them into an unstoppable army. You have realities with secret knowledge and powerful magic. You could become so much more than this, and you're traveling around with these weak humans, letting the ones who hurt you use you. How could you do this to us? How could you leave me here? And Haura chokes. And she looks up at John. Why didn't you kill me?
Why? Why would I want to kill you?
I was trying to kill you. If you'd let me die, you beat me. If you'd killed me that day, no one would have questioned it.
I didn't want to kill you. I never met a real dragon before. And my first experience was this tempest coming out of the sands, and before we even realized it, you were upon us, and we defended ourselves, and when you were taking your last breath, I couldn't bring myself to destroy you. I didn't know what to do, and I thought I could help you. I thought I could change you. I had heard of the difference between the various dragons, and I thought maybe, I don't know, I guess I thought maybe with my help, I was wrong. Haura, Akaphisian, I honestly wish I would have killed you that day. For your sake. But that day I met one of my greatest friends and allies, and despite the hurt I've caused you and everyone who's come to know you, I don't honestly think I'd change it. Haura, what I did was wrong. I know that now. I'm so sorry for the harm that I've caused you. Whatever I need to do to... I can never take it back, but... You said that there was going to be a price that I would need to pay, something I could do to... I would never demand your forgiveness. And I would be blessed with your understanding, and what can I do to help heal the harm that I've caused?
Haura, tears streaming down her face, reaches her hand out towards you.
John takes a deep breath, wiping away his own freely streaming tears, and he... It hasn't been more than 10 minutes, has it?
Nope.
Then with the last of the energy remaining in his spell, he floats down, his blue draconic wings fading as he stands before Haura. And he hesitantly offers his hand to her.
She seizes your hand, holds it tight. The dragon under her feet roars silently as the light of the Well of Wisdom bursts under you, flashes all around you, blindingly. Impossible for anyone to look at it directly.
Mate, during this light, John's going to try to call out to her through this explosion of light and sound. Are you sure you want to do this? You heard what they said. If we're both in the water together.
She just grips tighter. You took my power on that day, John. You took my choice. I am Haura. But I need that power back.
Oh, God. John takes her hand in both of his and squeezes tightly, pressing his head to her hand.
The light flares. The light fades. And when it fades, it leaves behind only the sorceress and the investigator. John, increase your wisdom by 2 points. And all of your magic is gone. And we'll continue the story next time on Coriander Society Adventures. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. Stay tuned next Wednesday when we continue.
Tuesday.